Let's go to the court as Tim Legler joins us and get you ready with the warm-ups. And I want to focus on Kevin Love because Kevin Love has been weird in this series, right? I mean, he's averaging 15 and 11, but his best games have been on the road, not at home. What do you need to see from him tonight?
You know, part of the reason I think Kevin Love's having a little bit of a hard time is because the Boston Celtics in the last couple of games haven't committed a ton of help on LeBron James. And that's what frees up Kevin Love to get 3 or 4 open threes a game. He hasn't really had that, and he's not the force that he was in the post earlier in his career. And this is one of the reasons I think LeBron James is going to have to score 40 points in either of these two games to win, because he doesn't know where the consistent offensive production is going to come from on his roster, because Kevin Love can't even do that right now. So I think it's on LeBron, man. He's got to have one of those 40-point nights.
Maybe the most important guy on the other side for the Celtics is the point guard, Terry Rozier, especially how this team starts in the first quarter. What must you see from this young man?
Yeah, push the pace. And you know, we fell in love with this guy really in the Philly series. He was incredible since Kyrie went down, but in that Philly series,
he was fearless.
He was sensational. I mean, he took over games. The Sixers really had a hard time containing him with the basketball. He's cooled off a little bit, too. I kind of feel like he's due for a night when we're talking about Terry Rozier after the game, where he gives you a 20-point night. I want to see him be aggressive in the first quarter and really push the pace.
How about Tristan Thompson? Early in the series, everybody was talking about when he's on the floor, things change for the Cavaliers. What did you see in Game 5 that maybe he needs to do a better job in Game 6?
Yeah, Tristan Thompson is one of those guys that when he's committed to go to the offensive glass on every possession, and that's his sole mindset offensively, he comes up with 5-6 offensive rebounds, and he gets you extra possessions. He gets you the tap-out rebounds. They go out to half court, and somebody else runs it down. And all those extra possessions add up to putting the ball back in the hands of the best player in the series. Tristan Thompson just was a non-factor. 1 point, 6 boards. You didn't know some. Cleveland Cavaliers, typically in the postseason over the last 4 years, you're talking about Tristan Thompson after the game in which they win. His energy has to be a factor tonight. Get them some second shots.
I was about to say, he needs to keep the series alive, the possession alive, tipping the ball back outside. All right, as we get ready for this game, who you got?
I like Cleveland tonight. I think it's going to be hard for a young team like Boston to kill a guy like LeBron on his own floor.
Can you imagine, though, losing on his home floor? LeBron has never done that before the NBA Finals, losing on his home floor for elimination.
Tonight, 11.
You got to do what makes you happy. I'm going to do what makes my city happy, and that's why I came back. I love you. I'm back.
Cleveland is a city of champions once again.
I understand how much I mean to the city.
Cavs will go home, but will face elimination at Quicken Loans Arena on Friday.
It was exciting for the fans, exciting for the city. It's worth having, and it's supposed to be there, and you know, it'll always come back.
Here's a look at some of the memorable LeBron Game 6 performances. Went down 3-2. 2016 Finals, nearly had a triple-double. 41, 11, 8 rebounds, and the Cavs win against the Warriors. We all know what happened in Game 7. 2013 Finals, LeBron's triple-double, propelling the Heat to a crucial Game 6 win over the Spurs with a little help from Ray Allen and that triple. 2012 Eastern Conference Finals, LeBron, there it is. LeBron had one of his more meaningful and memorable games of his career. 45 points, 15 rebounds. The Heat would win that series and the title. Meanwhile, back in 2010, the first tenure with the Cavs ended with a Game 6 loss in Boston. The last time King James didn't reach the finals. Michael Wilbon now on the potential end of that streak.
That sure to affect tomorrow night's Game 6. We'll talk about that. But tonight, all the drama is in Cleveland.
The NBA Finals
LeBron James has never been eliminated.
Because that's exactly where he's lived throughout the prime of his career. From the time he was 26 years old until now. 7 seasons, 7 trips to the NBA Finals. An incredible streak in peril tonight. And in that time, LeBron James has become to the NBA's championship series what Babe Ruth was to the World Series in the 1920s, what Joe DiMaggio was to the series in the 40s, what Maurice Richard was to the NHL Stanley Cup Final in the 50s, what Bill Russell was to the NBA Finals in the 60s, Magic in the 80s, and Jordan in the 90s, and of course, Tom Brady to the Super Bowl in the aughts and teens. Beyond these 7 trips, we've become familiar, make that dependent on LeBron's presence, his brilliance to the very last drop of every NBA season. First leading the Heat, then the Cavaliers. Along the way, there were battles with Chauncey Billups, with Dwight Howard, with a healthy Derrick Rose, with the Celtics of Pierce, Garnett, Rondo, and Allen, with the Spurs of Pop, Timmy, and Kawhi, and of course, the trilogy with the Warriors, with different teammates coming and going, from Boobie Gibson and Big Z, to D. Wade and C. Bosh, to Kyrie and K. Love. In fact, the changing cast of characters and venues reminded us he could seriously threaten to win a championship anywhere with almost anybody, Hall of Famers or a starless ensemble. With apologies to Shaq and Kobe, to Durant and Westbrook, and even Steph Curry, LeBron has been the league's most compelling single figure since he reached the NBA Finals the first time, back in 2007, even though the Spurs swept him aside for the championship. A sport utterly dependent on stars was blessed by a combination of Jordan and Magic, a showman with team instincts. We didn't know in 2007 he'd become a fixture in the final days of May and the first 2 weeks of June, that the drama of a global sport would come to center on him. The people who once hated LeBron, the ones with good sense anyway, came to appreciate, if not love him. And now he could be bounced from the playoffs prematurely in this context. Maybe he could be playing for the final time in the jersey that said Cleveland, the place that got from the hometown kids finally what it couldn't get from the Indians and Browns for more than 50 years.
Cleveland! This is for you!
The only thing stranger than LeBron being out of the playoffs early would be the possibility his signature late spring runs could be over entirely. The Celtics will be better. The Sixers are coming. Youth, even in the NBA, must be served. But for a particularly long time in modern professional sports, LeBron has put everybody else on hold and transfixed us with a blend of talent, intellect, and guile at a level that only the greatest ever have known. And even after 15 physically and emotionally exacting seasons, he may again be going somewhere new, but fortunately not away.